Overflows.
Hormones and sex act human superglue, insights into life, love, and light. You can earn money, have high status, or anything else. Life will remain full of misery and conflict and unfulfilled. Life will continue like this unless one attains to sexual fulfillment. Love knows no boundaries. Love needs capability to inculcate confidence and trust in the partner. Fulfillment in love needs emotional intelligence, capability to navigate relationship with patience and understanding. But this does not happen in most of the cases. Normally and naturally, you have used the two words, sex and love, as synonyms. Ordinarily, you use both words as, as if they have an inner association, as if both are connected to one another deep within. Really, they are not. Basically, sex energy remains frozen. First, it begins to melt through sexual understanding and interaction. Once the energy becomes fluid like, only then the process of evaporation can begin. Before that, love is a foreplay and nothing else. It is just preparing the ground for the sex act. It is nothing but an introduction to sex, a preface. So the more sex is there between two persons, the less love will be there, because then the preface is not needed. When sex becomes a meditation, it flowers into love. And this flowering is a moment, a movement towards the divine. Love surfaces only when sex has disappeared or evaporated. When you make sex to a person, you think it unites you with the other. For a moment, it gives you an illusion of unity, and then a vast division suddenly comes in. That is why, after each sex act, a frustration and a depression comes in. One feels that one is so far away from the beloved. Sex divides. And when love goes deeper and deeper, it unites more and more. And there is no need for sex anymore afterwards. Your inner energies can meet and merge even without sex. And you live in such a unity. That is the union of inner man and inner woman, Shiva and Shakti, or anima and animus. During sexual act, several hormones are released that maintain and balance physical and mental health, vigor, and vitality. The human body releases powerful hormones in the brain of both men and women during sexual activity, including the neurohormones oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin regulates extracellular osmolatry. This extracellular osmolatry refers to concentration of dissolved particles such as salt and glucose in the serum, and therefore helps in maintaining the volume of water in the extracellular fluid. This extracellular fluid refers to the fluid space that surrounds the cells. Furthermore, it also plays a role in cardiovascular functions. Regular sex helps in maintaining the cardiovascular health. It has vasoconstructive effects and can be used in circulatory support as well. This is necessary to protect cells from sudden increase or decrease in water content, which are capable of interfering with proper cell functions. To maintain health level, there is a certain serum osmolarity range. Vasopressin and oxytocin evolved from a single primordial hormone called vasotocin, which is present in lower vertebrae. Oxytocin is another hormone. It is produced in the hypothalamus and released into the bloodstream by the pituitary gland. Its main function is to facilitate childbirth, which is one of the reasons it is called the love hormone or cuddle hormone. Oxytocin, like endorphin and serotonin, is a type of hormone in your body that promotes positive feeling of well-being. Oxytocin both stimulates the muscles of the uterus to contract and boosts the production of prostaglandins, which also increase uterine contractions. Women whose labor is slow to proceed are sometimes given oxytocin to speed the process of contraction. Once the baby is born, oxytocin helps to move milk from the ducts in the breast to the nipples and to foster a bond between mother and the baby. Human bodies also produce oxytocin when we are excited by our sexual partners and when we fall in love. That is why oxytocin is nicknamed as love hormone or cuddle hormone. Researchers have shown that oxytocin decreases stress and anxiety levels. That's why regular sex act in whatever form. Sex means intimacy. Intimacy between the partners helps to decrease stress and anxiety levels. Researchers also suggest that oxytocin can have a positive impact on social behaviors relating to relaxation, trust, and overall psychological stability. Oxytocin production and secretion is controlled via a positive feedback loop. This means the hormone causes an action that stimulates more of its own release. So it stimulates its own release. For example, when a newly born baby suckles, mechanoreceptors in the nipple and cervix are activated, creating a positive sensory feedback loop which leads to additional release of oxytocin in the brain. The increased oxytocin production and secretion into blood causes milk to be let down into the breast. So it is not that it is assumed that the constant suckling of the nipples helps in release of the milk. Instead, through that act, first the oxytocin level is changed, more oxytocin is released, and this causes milk secretion in the breast. Low oxytocin levels have been linked to the symptoms of depression. Lower oxytocin levels have been linked to the symptoms of depression, including postpartum depression, means depression after the sex. Researchers have been studying whether giving oxytocin in a tablet or as a nasal spray might help to ease anxiety and depression. But so far, the results have been disappointing. In part, that is because it is hard for this hormone to slip across the blood-brain barrier. A more promising way to boost oxytocin naturally is the exercise. Once one study noted that a jump in oxytocin level measured in participants' saliva after high intensity of martial art training. Music also seems to have the ability to increase oxytocin levels, specifically when people sing in a group, which adds the element of bonding, creates a bonding. Just the simple act of touch seems to boost oxytocin release in the body. Giving someone a massage, cuddling, making love, or giving someone a hug leads to higher levels of this hormone and a greater sense of well-being. This is what one has to remember, that sex is not simply as it is understood one act. It incorporates so many other things. Giving someone a massage, cuddling, making love, or giving someone a hug leads to higher levels of hormone and greater sense of well-being. Women are more sensitive to the effects of oxytocin during sexual activity. As oxytocin is released, it acts as emotional superglue between the partners. Men, on the other hand, are more affected by vasopressin, which similarly helps a man to bond with his partner and instills a protective instinct towards his partner and the children. One way of thinking about bonding effect of sex is to imagine these hormones are like duct taping a couple's arm together. After a breakup or after switching partners, that same duct tape is ripped off along the same particles of skin and hair, reducing its stickiness and the ability to bond again to a new partner. That is the reason that after the first break, it becomes difficult to establish another deeper bond again. Similarly, there is research that suggests that when stress hormone is released, as can happen after a breakup, then the ability of oxytocin to increase bonding of the partners is reduced as the oxytocin level actually drops. Research also show that oxytocin levels will increase to normal sexual activity once the normal sexual activity is stopped and time is given for emotional and physical healing.